Here's a great question here, and I never really thought about this, but 80s wrestling fan on Twitter did. Piper, Hogan, Sid, Warrior, and Davey Boy all left the WWF in 1992. The high point of talent from when you won the title at the 92 Rumble had changed dramatically by the end of the year. Did the departures cause you to consider an excellent plan by the time you dropped the belt to Brett? Probably not. But let me just say, think about that now. You look at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, man, that is a drastically different roster. So I know that you said, oh, I wasn't drawing as champion. But man, the company, it really is a new company by this point. It's just the guys that we've grown up with in the more recent years, they're all gone.
Oh, I know. I mean, it wasn't just me, but I'm still going to tell you that as a champion, it's your responsibility to put the asses in seats. I mean, I feel that way.
Isn't it also true though that the company, by and large, the whole territory, if you will, had been what Bruce Pritchard would call a babyface territory. They
Yes,
wanted a
yes,
Bruno Sammartino or a Hulk Hogan, and then
yes,
we're just going to have a heel factory, right?
exactly.
So maybe that's part of it. Let's jump into another question here from Bryant. In Rick's opinion, what does he think made Brett such a good in ring performer?
Repetition, being legitimately tough, and he had a lot of self confidence.
It felt like to me as a fan, he did all of the little stuff. Like
Yeah.
lots of guys got thrown into the turnbuckle, but they didn't get thrown into the turnbuckle like Bret Hart got thrown into the
Oh.
turnbuckle.
Okay. So, what? Yeah, you're right about that being thrown in the turnbuckle. What Brett did, and this is what guys hate to hear this, but what made Brett so good is he's technically sound.
Hmm.
He can punch. He can kick. God, I mean, I appreciate the shout out from Jericho last week about the trilogies and all this stuff and that. But I mean, there's a time when I just got to say thank you for the shout out. But if you want to compare Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho to Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, I don't have it. You don't see Steamboat and I'm missing clotheslines from 2 feet away.
Oh,
And when the biggest bump after these guys give you these top rope that have a corona, what are they called?
Hurricane Rana.
Hurricane, right? Each one given them, which are huge bumps that I never took. I mean, I've taken them obviously, but the only and they sell it right appropriately. But the biggest sell of all time during the match was when Daniel Bryan got pushed into the referee. He laid there for 15 minutes. I mean, do you remember the match?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we agree to disagree. I think Brian Danielson's one of the best wrestlers of all time. So I don't think it's
Yeah.
possible for him to have a
But
bad.
I didn't say no. That no, that didn't. I'm not arguing about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there's a reason why they talk about me and Steamboat 40 years later.
For sure.
Are they going to talk about that match 40 years from now?
I don't think so.
Huh?
No, sir.
No. I mean, I appreciate the shout out from Chris and all that, but I mean, do they have good matches? Yeah, but it's they're fundamentally, man. I mean, the punching and the kicking, and if you look at it close up and compare it, I mean, you just can't. And these guys that just chop away at each other, it's like a Ric Flair chop fest,
Right,
and nobody sells it.
right.
I chop Steamboat, he goes down, but I'm hitting him a lot harder than those guys are hitting each other. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that's where Brett was so solid. He was in there. He didn't miss. And I mean, I just give kudos to him, and it's not taking nothing away from Chris or Daniel Bryan. It can't. This is not a personal comment. It's what I think is it's what I believe to be the difference between good and great. And that's just my opinion. You have your opinion. It just if you technically your stuff is weak, then technically your work is weak.
Well, we mentioned Steamboat a lot. I want to mention he's wrestling his last match about a month from now. Tickets are on sale. You can still snag a front row seat if you're going to be in the Dorton Arena area. So be sure to check that out.